Okay, here we go. As this is all about hidden mouse heaven, I'm going to show you what hidden really means. Anybody who's ever read my website will hear me frequently referring to the storage area under the floor. Well, actually, downstairs is a floor built in, and underneath is all storage. But I did something like it upstairs, and even though it's technically not under the floor, I still call it the storage area under the floor, and I'm going to show you what that is. It's filled with stuff, let me assure you. So full that the overflow is right over here. You want to look at that for a minute? That's boxes upon boxes of photographs and artwork and stuff that it just got too crowded under the floor to put any place but there. So come on, let's go under there. Nobody's been here before. Here we go. First of all, I have to put on my knee pads.
I'm curious, what's under there as part of the collection, or have your work is under there as well?
A little bit of everything. A little bit of everything. My collection, my artwork. There's amazing stuff under there. Prototypes, dolls, things I did years ago. Parts of that I haven't seen for half a century. There's a light right here. Okay, there we go. This is it. The depths, the lower depths of all the stuff that's hiding here in this secret place under the floor. Okay, here's a box right here at the front. I'm just going to grab it. It says some good stuff. So let's see what's in it. Don't worry, I've done this many thousands of times before. Here we are. Okay, let's find out what some good stuff consists. Oh, well, it is some good stuff, actually. This is one of the original jackets that were worn by the members of the original 1930s Mickey Mouse Club. Here it is. It's pretty graphic. Really, you know, it's a shame this stuff is all down here. Here's one of the little Mickey Mouse Club fezzes that members, the Green Bay delegate of the Mickey Mouse Club. This is a little fez that he wore with a little, he or she wore with a little tassel. What else is under here? Yeah. Here's a bizarre early Orphan Annie cutout doll. Unusual because she has eyeballs. Oh boy. These are the backgrounds that I cut up from my interesting book in 1967 to photograph for the backgrounds for the Outer Spacemen, the packages. Here's a sheet of Rose O'Neal Kewpies. Here's a box for the Popeye Target game. There's a box that contains, Foxy Grandpa sheet music. A spectacular book of the Gumps. I think this is all early comic pages. Oh, here's a whole set of masks for Gulliver's Travels. Snitch. Prince David, uninspired. King Bombo, he's pretty good. Oh. Here's carefully cut out clothes and figures for a really good condition set of the Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse paper dolls. All right, I'm going to put these back in and go to another, see what else is here. There's Gabby. Der Fuhrer's Face. This is the sheet music for a Donald Duck cartoon. It was definitely wartime. Huh. I don't believe this. These appear to be the original sketches for the patches that I designed for our fire department, the Dutchess Junction Fire Company. There's a photograph of the image painted on the truck, and here's my original sketch for the image on the truck. God, I didn't know this stuff was in here. I'd actually been looking for it. There's the little head that went on the badge. More attempts at the patch.
Those were all original.
Yeah, gee, I like this one best.
I don't know if I like it best, but I really like it.
Rabbits, etc. My God, the stuff that's in here. Oh my God.
Cool.
Well, this is what's left of one of the rabbits that I designed for Austin Display, my first job. There was a whole set of these.
Really wonderful.
Here's another little thing I made that was jointed.
Cool.
Jointed angels for display cabinets. God, there's amazing stuff in here.
And this is just one box.
Oh. These are photographs of Helen Kane, who some would say was the model for Betty Boop. Oh my goodness, the earliest Colorforms catalog. This is what they had in the days before I got involved. Too much stuff in here. Story behind Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Oh, the $10,000 surprise party. This is a bit of Disney legend. The movie did so well, he proclaimed that he was giving every one of his employees a $10,000 bonus. It was in all the papers, Mr. Nice Guy. They never got it.
Who said this? Walt Disney said?
Yep, they never got it. Never happened. Punch magazine. Pin the tail on Mickey. Oh, these are great. Look at these things. Oh, wow. There's good stuff in this case. Jesus. Holy crap. Here's two wonderful printed sheets. All with felt. And the image of these felt images are made up of cut pieces glued in place. I guess there's some kind of pillow covers. These are really nice. Here's my favorite early Mickey image. These are really good. Why are they in this box? Here's a set of comic character funny paper bridge tally cards. All the characters of King Features. Jiggs and Maggie mostly. There's Abe Kabibble. Abe Kabibble was the first and possibly only Jewish comic character. Abe Kabibble is a detective. And here is a large, spectacular calendar.
Look at that. How many months do you have every month on there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Sponsored by Morel Ham. So, as usual, the pigs are the featured.
Can we see another?
Yes, we can see more. Is the lighting good?
Yeah.
Let's see how I can...
Oh, so it's not just 3 little pigs.
No. Mickey's Pluto's dog show. Is this photographing well?
Yeah. Okay. The whole thing, mostly just the images.
The Ugly Duckling.
Wow, that's really...
Well, you can tell this is 1942. This was during the war.
Wow. Look at the colors on that.
The funny little bunnies. Beautiful, isn't it? Some amazingly good art here. Here's Donald as I knew him as a kid. I would have been 5 when this was produced. The Barnyard Symphony. Well, that's forgettable. Oh, this is good. The Brave Little Tailor. And the band concert in the updated redrawn version with Mickey Mouse looking utterly hideous. Grasshopper, that's a pretty one.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
The Old Mill.
Over. And they did artwork even, I mean, I can zoom in on the numbers there. That one got a little bit crossed out.
Here we go, Pinocchio.
Cool.
And last but not least, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Look at what I've got here. Isn't that amazing?
Amazing.
That's amazing. Wow.
Put it over here.
Okay, just let me get it all cascading back down again. Huh. That was kind of fun. I'll just put it here. Okay, what else have we got in here? Another Popeye target. It's missing a few of the parts on this one. What will this be?
More Halloween?
Halloween, these are something that didn't make themselves way into my display. This is a whole set. There's the set that looks like Mickey, but this is the entire set that looks like Pussycats. Stuff is everywhere here, Eric. Here's the Moon Mullins, Orphan Annie's doggy, Sandy. God. One can spend a lifetime just discovering what's here. Fortunately, it will all be discovered during my death time.
Why was that, fortunately?
Because I won't have to deal with it. These are, can you see these? Mm-hmm. These are the really wonderful Wild things made by Todd McFarlane's studios. But they're really,
I never knew about those.
Maurice loved this set. They, for once, something met with his approval. But they, there we go. They're quite glorious.
Detail.
Okay, I'm going to put this box away then, and let's find another. These here are, these are simply the empty boxes for celluloid toys. Okay, there we go. And here I go again.
Against my advice.
I know, it gets you nice, I know. Listen, this might be the last time I can ever go under here. I got to do it. I got my knee pads on. That requires considerable effort. And, well, I see something interesting here. not hard to see because it's written, and I'll drag this, whatever it is, out within reach too. Okay. This is kind of cool. If this is what I think it is, Wild Things Patterns. Okay. This is what I believe it is. I think it is. Yes, yes, yes. Here they rest in peace. These are the original notes from our first meetings, and these are the bits and pieces of the original Wild Things drawings that I drew on the fabric.
Those are original drawings.
These are the originals. These are the pieces that made up the characters that I actually drew on Bonnie's blank dolls.
Bonnie Erickson.
And yeah, Bonnie Erickson, who's coming up here in a few days. And these could be put back together to recreate the original prototypes. Here they all are. Here's Max. What's left of him. Okay.
It's got to be hard to imagine what it's going to look like when it's in 3D, when you got to draw it in 2D. Did you have to do
No, I drew it. I drew first. First of all, I drew the way I thought the dolls would look. Then Bonnie turned them into patterns and made three-dimensional dolls in white fabric.
So you worked in reverse. You patched it on.
And then I drew on her three-dimensional dolls. And we got the prototypes, which have been photographed, and we used them a lot. And then I had to take them all apart to get these flats and trace all of the flats. Gee, I don't think Max, the final Max, had printed hands. Then we traced all the flats. Well, he had toes too, believe it or not. And made the printed sheets. Okay. I'm going in one more time. We'll have one more shot at this to see what I can find. I'm grabbing this first box, it's not labeled. Ugh. It's heavy. What's it gonna be? Uh-oh. Oh my God. Okay, I'll tell you what this is. It's everything I bought in 3 years on eBay. Here we go. This is, let me try to get some light better on this. How's that working?
Good.
This is a charming piece of artwork that was produced by a young girl on her birthday. And it's somewhere in Spain. But it shows all the American comic characters in Spanish wishing her a happy birthday. Here's another rare calendar. Well, I've only seen that piece of art here.
Is that multiple pages or just the one?
Just the one page. Well, obviously the calendar had more pages, but all I've got is one page. It had, because this is July, August, and September. There's a mysterious figure in the toy world named Oscar Hitt, and he apparently was someone not unlike me because he did a lot of weird toys. This toy is so cheap that the images had to be, it's a shooting gallery, the images had to be printed on shapes from another toy. So the shapes were in the form of soldiers, and these characters are superimposed on the arbitrary shapes.
Whoa.
But this guy did one amazing toy called Highway Henry. And was it a comic strip or was it not? Nobody knows. This is another toy by Oscar Hitt. This is kind of interesting if you can see it. This is a silver platter embossed with brownies. sheet music from Jigs and Maggie. Rather nice, rather charming little set of wooden soldiers here. Felix the Cat decals. This is actually pretty incredible. This is a King Features Christmas giveaway. Merry Christmas. King Features Syndicate. And these are individual Christmas greetings from all the Crazy Cat, Popeye, from Ruth Carol, from all of the characters in their stable of characters. The Cats and Jammer Kids. Etc. Major Hoople, etc., etc., etc. There's a whole set of these. Oh, best of all is the Little King. You know, I think before the day is over, I'm going to find myself somewhat troubled being reminded again and again of the question, why do I have all of these? All these things, many of which will mean an awful lot to somebody, and that somebody isn't necessarily me. There's a wonderful Happy Hooligan ring toss game. Here's a mint set of the stencil cards from the Oswald the Rabbit stencil set. The ones I have on display with the box downstairs have faded, but these are their original bright pink. This is amazing, this wonderful handshake book. A handful of fun, and it's full of all kinds of ideas of ways you can have fun based on Mickey Mouse. Piece of common sheet music. A handsome volume of Foxy Grandpa, showing his whole history. He didn't change much over the years, starting out when he was just a little baby. Here he is as a schoolboy, young man. And here he is. And Bunny, who created him, that was his signature. Okay, the Cats and Jammer Kids Rocking Horse. Lots of Rocking Horse, very little Cats and Jammer Kids. That's from an old newspaper supplement of the era. Skizik's sheet music. Yep, here they are, the Simpsons.
1940s.
Nope, the Simpsons. This is kind of interesting because it's a mask of all the characters. Magazines of the era. Motion picture magazine with featuring the Felix the Cat doll. Here's the Gumps sheet music. It's rather handsome. This is a from Judge magazine. Is a sort of rare engraving of the based on the Yellow Kid. It's a political cartoon using his image. Oh. These are actually Xerox copies that I made for a friend of a complete miniature Howdy Doody show. I have, with TV cameras and everything, I have the original in this box somewhere. This is really spectacular. Autos to build. And what you see here is, you go, it makes the Universal Oil Company.
Big ones too.
They're big. And they construct all the vehicles and the scene to put them in.
So when you would go on eBay, what would you search? a specific time period or a specific item?
I would search, God knows, these things would crop up, and there they were. This is a rarity. I have one downstairs that's printed off register, but this is the Mickey Mouse ice cream cone premium puppet theater with all the characters and based on Mickey Mouse ice cream. Okay, we're still down here. Come on, spark plug, Barney Google sheet music. But this is nice. Oh my God, it's sticking to the surface. This is English. It builds a final scene from The Brave Little Tailor with Mickey Mouse and the Giant. It has a working Ferris wheel.
That's cool.
This is actually a modern reproduction of the Lion Coffee brownie ad, but the theme is very much like the elephant downstairs.
Yeah.
Great image. I'd love to have that poster. This is an oilcloth doll meant to be stuffed of Andy Gump. Here's another copy of the Popeye Puppet Show with all the scenes and crazy characters that animate. Mickey Mouse ideas. These were ads for the, actually it's magazine articles. These are the originals from early Mickey. This image here is, actually I have this poster downstairs.
Is it in color, the one you have?
Yeah, it's the German version, but it's the same artwork. There's another copy of the first Mickey Mouse publication ever. Mm-hmm. There were 3 or 4 variations of that somewhere around here. I've got them all. Here's a nice catalog of carnival novelties. Oh, there's one of those animated pictures we were looking at last time. Oh, there's a great Felix mask here. What an amazing image that is.
Is that the original catalog?
Yes, it is.
Wow. I love that.
London. The Dudley and Company, London.
That sounds English.
Well, look at this. Okay, this is Mickey Mouse stuff. Look at this stuff. There's nothing like it here in the United States. I do have, oh wow, wait a minute, incredible. Jesus, I should have this committed to memory. Look, I have this thing downstairs, and here's the sax player, and here's the wind-up animated Mickey. Well, incredible. Wow. This I'm leaving out. Okay. This is one of a series of amazing 3D masks based on Howdy Doody. It was the one Howdy Doody thing that was amazing.
Does that animate somehow?
No, but it's three-dimensional, and
you can wear it.
I was never able to get the complete set. If I ever did, I'd actually frame them in a shadow box.
The body and the rest?
No, it would be Howdy and Clarabelle and all the other characters. The Reflector, a 1933 annual, featuring, of all things, Mickey Mouse. And there's somewhere in this book is some amazing Mickey graphics. There.
What was this, a high school?
It was a high school yearbook.
I wonder how one of the students did the artwork? Or?
Absolutely.
Cool.
When I was in high school, I was the one that did the yearbook. Unfortunately, it didn't have Mickey Mouse. Here's a wonderful book on display animation, which features Old King Cole display.
What's the name of that?
Display animation, 1938.
What else?
And here we see the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs displays.
Oh, that's cool.
All the Disney displays. And what totally freaks me out is these views of department stores as they existed back in the 1930s. Boy, I got these on eBay from a parade that took place somewhere out in the Midwest with this wonderful image of Felix the cat. And these balloons, clearly these were designed by Tony Sarg. I recognize the elephant. Those are original photographs, therefore they are fading outrageously. Little Mickey embroidery of no great interest.
Do you have scans of those on your website, or not? Have you gotten to that?
I have this one of Felix the Great Parade. The Notting Head Wild Animals. This is a radio premium.
What was that?
I don't know what the show is for, but
Paper toys?
yeah, they're very similar, I would gather, to Orphan Annie's Circus, which also included wild animals in it. And let's just take a look. Here we go. Whoa, hold on. What's really in here is an unpunched set of the Singing Ladies. Whoa, Kellogg's Singing Lady Circus. I have parts of this on display, but here it is. This is the whole thing unpunched.
Vibrant color.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
You want to hold that out?
Yeah, oh boy. That's great. I didn't know I had another copy of this in this envelope that's called Wild Animals. Well, thanks for asking to see it, Eric. It says thanks too, because it would have never been discovered. I'm going to tend to this later. Jolly Golly, this is English. This is an animated gollywog toy. Oh, I used to love these as a kid. They sold them in the comic book department. And they were punch-outs, all based on popular comic characters. Fish and Fun, with Willie the Worm and Sammy the Skunk.
You said they're punch out, so were they just a book of paper toys?
They made, well, you like this kind of thing, I know. These are animated paper toys.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
They were 10 cents each. You could get a comic or you could get one of these.
They would punch out and then they would...
Yeah, then you'd animate them. You'd let them sit around your room and collect dust, then you would throw them away. But there were many of these, and many of them were all based upon the Marvel family and Marvel Bunny and those characters. Oh boy. Here's a series of foreign punch-outs all based on Pinocchio. And here he is on stage. His foot obviously would kick, and there's a ballerina, and there's a little cannibal.
Would the mechanics be built into that, or you'd have to string it?
I think you would just put it together with tabs and wiggle it or something.
Cool.
Popeye the Sailor. This is good. Popeye the Sailor model book, and it's all punch-outs of Popeye. Popeye in his heyday. And I gather this would become the background.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Would you say these are some of the last purchases you have of the
These are some of the last purchases, absolutely. These are from a different era. Well, there's Mama Katzenjammer mask. This is the sheet that would make up a Mickey Mouse watch display. Would have to be laminated and die cut. Well, I got all this stuff over 3 exciting years, and in the end, there's Periwinkle. These are fairly scarce. The 3 pigs, I think I have all 3. The Big Bad Wolf, Mickey and Minnie. Well, this is all in French, so these came from France, and this was the glassine envelope that the entire set came in. Here's a nice die-cut image of a bunch of dogs watching a Punch and Judy show. Punch was universal. He appealed to everybody. Here's a whole bunch of Einstein Freeman masks. Some of these are pretty rare. Here's Major Hoople from our boarding house. And here's a Buster Brown mask that's quite unusual. Here's Jeff from Mutt and Jeff. Mickey McGuire from Doodyville folks. And Tomboy Taylor. Here's Herbie, that's Smitty's little brother. Harold T. and Lillams. Well, he's just a bad guy, but here's an unusual one, because one rarely saw Dick Tracy's face. You know, he's always drawn in a chiseled profile. Yeah. And here he is, full frontal face. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. This punch-out builds the entire panorama of the film.
Is that displayed?
No. Well, that's the conundrum, Eric. Do I have it displayed? That's what, you know. It occurred to me after I had purchased all of these. Here's a nice Betty Boop candy label. After I purchased all of these on eBay voraciously for several years, that my attempts to display them, this is the Orphan Annie Circus. Well, this is the Goofy Circus. This was the second Orphan Annie Circus. And it managed somehow to be kind of repulsive and bear no resemblance to the Harold Gray characters whatsoever. Done in this wacky styling that might have been appealing if one had never seen Orphan Annie. At any rate, what I was saying was, after acquiring all of this stuff for a number of years, and I attempted to put some of it on display, and then I realized that my environment, such as it is, actually was better looking without it. So I took all the stuff that I'd purchased for those 3 years and put it in a box, except for a few three-dimensional things that stayed out. But
was it then that you decided you didn't want to?
It was about then that it occurred to me that I didn't know where all of this was going, but it appeared that there was no stopping it. Felix Chevrolet. This is God knows what. Mutt and Jeff, a nice little Mickey Mouse embroidery, Winnie Winkle sheet music. Here's the Red Goose Shoes Chimpanzee Show. Dare say the only one that has survived to this day. Dare say. Well, here on the other side is a rather handsome Mickey doll. It's just waiting to be stuffed. Front and back. It's really kind of cool. Here's some interesting looking images. I just like the look of these. I liked the styling. And they would fold out and punch out. The Happy Family. This is Mrs. Ev R. Happy. She's ever happy. You love this kind of humor. Miss Vera Happy. She's very happy.
Oh, no.
And
they get better.
Oh, but wait a minute. They not only do that, they hold everything. I'm going to try to open this just so I can I can show you with another one. It'll be easy. This is Little Oh So Happy. And this is...
I thought that was going to be very happy.
This is Mr. Always Happy. And the thing that these do, they not only fold up and stand up, but they're really quite remarkable. That is bizarre. Laugh and grow fat is my motto. My temper is cheerful and gay. Never put off tomorrow the things that you could do today. And here's the cover, the Happy Family movie dolls, amusing and instructive. Okay, here we go. What's this going to be? Oh, this is a Popeye cookie. Oh! This is the Popeye cookie ad for the cookie box display over there. Those cookies that I glued back together with the crazy glue you were asking about earlier. That's the advertisement for them. A couple of Mickey and Minnie pot holders. Here's a couple of Mickey magazines. Well, these are unusual because they're not in the bound sheets in the bound books I have over there. These are the holiday specials, the Christmas book that came out once a year. And so I have those. Boy, I'm forever mired in those. And here's more turn of the century comic character postcards. They're really very graphic. Putting them there. And this is as many as I have of the Paul Parrot Tuckatab masks. Some of these are pretty rare, but I do not have the whole set. And when I get the whole set, then I'm going to construct them and put them in a box. But here's Flubadub. I really hated Howdy Doody, but this was the one thing I liked, Howdy Doody. And to get these, you had to go into a Powell Parrot.
The graphics on that is really...
The graphics are very nice, very pleasant, and they're also interesting when they're broken up and not unassembled like this.
When they're assembled, are they 3D?
They're 3D. They're like
similar to the one you have there?
They're part of the set. There's Mr. Bluster.
Wow.
And
how many would you have to get to have a whole set?
I think I'm missing the Detective and Princess Summer, Fall, Winter, Spring. It's Clarabelle, and I really could put these together even though I don't have the complete set. You know, talk about remnants of one's childhood. I think I got these now because I couldn't have them as a kid. Because no Paul Parrot shoe was ever going to fit me.
Doodyville.
Doodyville. So this is good. This is rare. This is the original. This is the whole set, the punch-out set of Doodyville. The pieces are all there. That piece will be in the
Now,
envelope.
would you have to cut it out, or they're just
Punch out.
Oh, that's pretty nice.
Requires a lot of effort to not let it punch itself out. Be careful, we put this back in again. Here's some of the characters. They're kind of nicely styled. This is quite rare. I encountered a Howdy Doody collector, and how I got to corresponding with him beats me, but he had never seen or heard of this before.
But you knew about the 3D masks.
Oh yeah, he had the complete set of those. These are the punch-out sheets. The punch-out sheets and all the scraps from the Buck Rogers Target set downstairs. That's it, Bobby. That's this box. Okay, we are moving over to the middle case. And right up here on the top, I see something already. It'll be a little tricky getting this out successfully, but I will do it. Oh my goodness. With love to all Birnkrant's, Maurice, 1976.
Wow, cool.
I got this stuff just lying around here. God.
It's a Christmas?
Yeah.
Cool.
Christmas 1976. Mickey Mouse 1932. This little volume produces some of the earliest strips. I'm going to give that to you, Eric, and you can... Huh. Snow White at 50, Undimmed Magic, and there's my cell again. It belonged to a man who worked for Disney who ended up moving to Newburgh, and when he passed away, his wife sold it to Lola. And she sold it to Bambergers, who bought it for me. And here we have the incredible, spectacular Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse paper dolls.
Huge.
They're big and they're designed beautifully. And here, in the single center page in this cutout version, is 4 of their outfits, which are essentially Art Deco.
Mm-hmm.
And then here is a more deluxe version, more fragile and rarer. These are all die cut to be punched out. But this version has additional outfits. Here's the Mickey Cowboy. Here's, whoa. Here's some Mickey Mouse wrapping paper, Christmas wrapping paper. And we have the center page you've just seen, and then we have an additional page in here with a little Dutch girl outfit for Minnie Mouse and her shopping coat. Here we go. Okay. And then here are a pair of volumes that are very, very rare. And like things this old here are falling apart. They're called Masque et Bouffon by Maurice Sands, who was the son of George Sands. And all the illustrations, they're all here. The book is all the characters and the variations from the Commedia dell'arte. And they're all hand-colored. And these aren't colored by stencil, these are literally colored by hand. Quite incredible. Quite incredible. When we were doing Boutique Fantastique, I proposed, because I have some pages marked, I proposed that we do a line of hand-colored greeting cards based on these. We never did do it. Watch the Mickey book, though. Let's put that over there. Here's the second volume, and it might have even more amazing art in it. Here's the whole history of these characters. Felicia Nell, Punchinella, as they developed the whole thing of Pierrot, Pierrette, Punch, they all stem from these origins. Punchinello. And here's the French Polichinelle. I have that wonderful doll downstairs I got in Paris.
Did you say these are all hand colored?
They're all hand colored.
That's unbelievable.
Well, I wonder if this volume has got a date in it. Well, here we come right up to Pierrot. All the commedia dell'arte. Another variation on Pierrot. The iconography of these characters would be the predecessors to comic characters. The whole pantheon of them. Here they are, the muse, and all their names inscribed. And I don't know how to find a date of publication. I could probably look this up on the internet. Wait a minute. Do you know what MDCCLX means? Well, that's when it was published. MDCCLX. Yes, yes, yes. This is what we want to see. Well, here's a prototype I made when I was doing proposed toy ideas the first few years I was with Colorforms. Harry loved this idea. We never did actually produce it. But I was just using pickup art for Mickey Mouse coloring books because I was so hot on Mickey in those days. But again, when the light's behind it, can you see that? When the light's behind it, the image would transform. Go right to the final one, which was my favorite.
Yeah, beautiful.
Okay, and now we're here in the land that you like so much. Animated Antics in Playland by Julian Weir. This was his thing, 1946. I remember these so well when I was a kid. I would have been 9 years old that year. And they were just amazing. You move them in and out and up and down. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Wow. I got it now. Okay. All right.
Well, that's cartoons before cartoons, huh?
That's it. Move, Ivan. Quite wonderful, really.
That is. Wow. That's really impressive.
Well, this is going to be good. Oh, and that little doll is looking out the window. Wow. Oh, this promises to be complicated. The windmill turns and
Whoa.
oh boy, that's got a lot going for it, doesn't it?
Yeah. Look at that.
Oh, there's a little grasshopper. Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
I think that's it for this one. Toyland, animated by Julian Weir.
Were you ever able to find out much information about Julian?
No, but I really should look it up. And this was Move.
Wow.
got that? Is that working?
Yeah. Beautiful.
This clearly is just meant to go up and back and forth. You can see from the way this...
That's kind of scary.
Well, there's a vaguely nightmarish quality about these, isn't there? My dreams should be this good, huh?
Wow, that's really beautiful.
The figures move as though they're in a dream. Here we are, extracting a horse from... There we go, the bunny watches. I can do this. Okay, here we go. This is it. Oh, I've got it. Okay. Okay, now we get into licensed properties. Popeye and the Pirates, animated by Julian Ware. This is a one you put always. Wimpy's, Popeye's in the well, birds in the tree, Wimpy's putting salt on his hamburger.
Which you didn't pay for, I'm guessing.
He will pay for it next Wednesday. Nice. Look at this.
I don't think I saw this one last time.
No, maybe not. Well, here we go. We're getting it now.
They wouldn't be such obvious thieves if they didn't have bags that said gold on that side of it.
Yes. This is teaching kids to read and to steal. Move. Oh, well. Popeye and his signature sock.
Yeah, he's gonna get, oh.
Oh. And then the one I remember very well from my childhood. Covers not attached, but miraculously the animated pictures still work well.
Wow. That's incredible.
Move, 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 move. How's it look through the camera?
It looks good.
Okay. And this one, I remember this one very graphically, because it was really spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
I was always fascinated by Raggedy Ann and Andy as a kid. At the same time, I was well aware that they were for girls and more than for boys, and consequently I felt slightly guilty that look at the eyesore coming out of the dragon. He's breathing geometric shapes. So as soon as I had daughters, I made sure they had glorious Raggedy Ann and Andy dolls, giant ones.
Cool.
I mean really giant ones. Because, oh, there we go. They really dare to do extreme animation.
And this is Ware also?
Yeah, all of them. I think he had the market cornered on this whole art form.
And Ware.
And last of all is The Wizard of Oz. Animations by Julian Ware.
books he has.
That would be interesting to find out. I have a funny feeling this is like almost all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that.
And downstairs you had the Three Little Pigs pop up, is that right?
Yeah, that was French.
Wow, I don't remember this one either.
Oh, I remember this. This was totally freaked me out, actually, as a kid. This
That scarecrow doesn't make it out too well.
stuff of this, like this, was disturbing. But all ends happily, and in the end, he gets a heart.
Cool.
Here they are. This is Mickey Mouse as I knew him as a kid. And this was my introduction to Mickey Mouse, this book. And this is what he looked like then. Here they are. Here's Mickey Mouse, here's Minnie Mouse.
There's no pocket eyes.
No classic Mickey then. These were great books from my childhood. All these books that were posed with animals.
That's funny.
They were very popular.
Yip and yap. That's really funny.
I actually loved this illustrator. Carrie Dudley. These were so nice. And they had all beautifully designed. Aren't they great? And they all had a gimmick to them. In this book, every page had a little window. And so as you turned it, it brought you into the next page. And then as you turned it again, you saw into the next page. And then you could turn this page and then close it. Wait a minute, something's wrong. Hold on. Okay, yeah, and then they got even trickier still. Because you would get a page like this. And you could, it's called a Peekaboo book. So you could put that page there, and it would complete this page like so. And then, if I'm not mistaken, you had other options. So you could put this page like that, and the page was altered still. So in a funny kind of way, it animated,
Right.
and the story continued a page after page as each one altered.
It is interesting.
And it also was nicely designed. And so it went on, and the same set of characters worked with every page and every situation. Well, seeing you and I have just been talking about Maurice, I'll show you this section. This is the Maurice Sendak section. And here we go. This is a book he autographed to my daughter Samantha. To Samantha, hello. From your friend Maurice Sendak, 1970, April 1970. Higgledy-piggledy-pop, he loved this book. And here, better kept, is my copy of, well, no, this is Toots's copy. To Toots' Birthcraft, Boo, Maurice Sendak, 1974. These are autographed. This, I think, is Samantha's copy. Of the Wild Things. Oh, this might be ours because it's got the Caldecott medal on it, and it doesn't look like it's been worn out. Yeah. Mel, Eunice, Samantha, and Toots, grr. We got a real special signature that time.
Yeah, that's cool. You don't see that often.
Well, all of these are from Maurice. A Kiss for Little Bear.
Was there a special occasion he would show up with birthdays or Christmas, or he would just send them when they were out?
For just every time a new book came out, we got it autographed.
Cool.
A book, a pamphlet, a brochure, it didn't matter. Whatever it was, we got one. What's the next? Really Rosie, music by Carole King. Here we go. Mel, Eunice, Samantha, Toots. I love you all, baby. Maurice Sendak. Okay, well, there's many more books on many more shelves that didn't fit here, but we have them all. Love for Three Oranges. He actually gave us tickets to see the opening of the opera.
Make it?
Oh yeah, you better believe it. It was fabulous. Here we go. Wunderbar.
Cool.
Mel and Eunice. I was standing looking over his shoulder when he was working on this book.
Was this the one where you had a pile of nibs on the floor?
No, that was this one. The here it is. Love for Three Oranges. This was wonderful.
Oh, wow.
I bet there's a lot of work you haven't seen here.
I've never seen this.
This was great.
What's the inside of that one look like? Is that all? It's
No, it's wonderful.
Cool.
Costume designs. Notice the affinity to the Masque and Buffon we've just been looking at.
I was going to ask if he saw your copy of that.
Well, I'm sure he was aware of it. Not my copy, but just the book itself. It is sort of the ultimate realization of the commedia dell'arte. Okay, down here in the bottom shelf is my unique collection, some of it actually dating from my childhood, of the Disney records of the 78s. Here's the only album that ever came out for the soundtrack of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And here's the record that I lived with intimately as a child. I had it all totally memorized, every sound effect, because they were the actual soundtracks of the film. But this book was interesting because all the record sleeves had pictorial story on them.
I don't think that's not from the movie, is it?
Oh, well, this is all the soundtrack from the movie. These are actual scenes from the movie, or from the art to prepare for the movie.
Right.
My copy as a kid did not have these illustrations in it. I had the cheap copy, but it was wonderful to me. In fact, this is what it looked like. Just like this and just like this. But I have them. Well, what's that? What am I hitting in there? You never know what you're going to find in here. Color in Teeth. So, this is how to choose the tooth that matches yours. They come in a wide variety of colors. Yes, Eric, I do have some very esoteric publications. Here's Mickey and the Beanstalk. I endure.
Another album.
It is.
Does it have the artwork in there?
No other albums have artwork in them. This is an album I made myself like as a kid. They sold it in the local Grinnell's record store in Detroit, Michigan. Had these pictures on it. The rest is all South American rumba music, but I made myself listen to it, all because of the 3 goddamn pictures on the cover. Here it is, Saludos Amigos. Again, it had the cover. And Tales of Uncle Remus, never gonna happen again. We're never gonna see that film. Uncle Remus is gone along with Huckleberry Finn, and riding off into the sunset of forbidden eternity. Here's a disappointment. The records were incredible, but the cover was such a letdown. Well, there's some interesting books in here, and certainly some with interesting memories. This is the 13 Clocks. This is my original copy of this book from high school, where we gave a puppet show of the 13 Clocks at Mumford High. And I was the Duke, of course, and there wasn't a lot in this book to use as a source to make the puppet. Few illustrations of the Duke. That was one of them. But it was this puppet, the fact that I brought it with me, its head anyway, to the interview at Disney that caused them, I believe, to hire me. Well, here are my Johnson and Smith catalogs. If you like novelties, this was really it. These were the best of everything. And, gee, wait a minute. These are the really, really early ones. These are the catalogs from Racine, Wisconsin, in the earliest days. They later moved to Detroit, Michigan. But these were amazing. And yes, one of the standard things was the Ancient Dragon of Luck, a hideously ugly scientific marvel. Perpetual motion solved at last. Let this animated dragon bring you luck. Well, I don't know if he was responsible for my good luck, but here he is.
I wish we had one. Oh.
I have one.
Oh.
There he is, right in that shelf. And when you would put your fingers on his head, his saliva would travel down that tube to the tip of his tongue. If my body temperature was up to human level, it would operate. Also in here, entire series of Little Orphan Annie, her whole history right from the beginning. This is her first book, her first strips. This is her origin right here. 1926. All of her adventures and misadventures. Adventures of Super Pickle. This is the actual copy of the actual book that I purchased at the Hallmark toy store, a card store, that brought Mike Strauss to come to work with me for the rest of his life.
This was illustrated by him.
This was illustrated by Mike. And I saw this book, and I said, there's a kindred spirit. I can work with this guy.
He was nearby too, wasn't he?
He lived in Kansas City worked at Hallmark.
Oh. And did you get him to move here, or you just worked remotely?
Well, we worked on a couple projects remotely, and then he moved right to the area. Harry picked him up and moved him here.
Wow.
Yeah, he stayed with us for a week while he house hunted, and he soon learned that he couldn't afford a house in New Jersey down by Colorforms. So he ended up getting a house up here in Dutchess County. So No, I was living here already. And but all he could afford was to be my neighbor. And I remember very well, he looked at one house that was so incredibly ordinary. Something sticking back there, and I want to find out what it is. The house was just so unbelievably ordinary, and my youngest daughter, Toots, was with us while we were house hunting. So she went along, and this horrible little upstairs with a sloping ceiling, because it was right under the roof. And it was so mundane. And there was a poodle on the toilet seat. It had a toilet seat covered with ruffles that looked like a French poodle. And Toots said, why can't we live in a house like this? Why do we have to live in that horrible big schoolhouse? Why can't we have this kind of house with a poodle on the toilet seat? And she aspired to it all her life. Okay, well, there's lots of interesting, not that extraordinary, but interesting, nice books in here. Here's the whole series of Jiggs and Maggie, Bringing Up Father, 5th series, 6th series. Oh, they'll all be black and white reproductions of the strips. But when George McManus was drawing this strip for the first 30 years or so of it, it was all very, very Art Deco, very stylish. And the Jiggs and Maggie I grew up with in the funny papers, he was gone already. So I never appreciated how gorgeously styled it was. I don't know how interesting this will be to look at, but down here is an incredible book of magic. This is from 1902. Stage illusions, scientific diversions, including trick photography. And it literally explains how everything is done, from sword swallowing to grand illusions. It blows all the classic tricks. One of the most amazing parts of this book is it shows how the effects were created at Bayreuth for the Wagner operas, for the Wagner Ring Cycle. Here's how the Rhine Maidens were operated. Here's a static electricity basis of those toys. Here's Edison's talking phonograph doll, which in its day was a marvel.
Oh, so that really happened. It wasn't just a
Oh, no, that happened. All this happened.
Wow,
None of this is theoretical. All of these illusions and all these things actually took place. This is explaining how George Méliès did all of his tricks. Here's how they made Siegfried's anvil strike electric jolts of electricity when he was forging the sword that was then used to slay the dragon. And this is how they actually appeared in the first production of Siegfried. Amazing book. Here's a really rare book. This is Slovenly Peter. And this book, which has been signed on 1929, but I think it's before that, all of these illustrations are hand-colored throughout the book. Hand-tinted, every one of them. Can you imagine book production on this level, coloring it all by hand? Here's an extraordinary book that I got in Paris. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Spectropia, surprising spectral illusions for showing ghosts everywhere and of any color.
Ooh, I need that.
Well, here's my original sketch for the infinity cover on the Colorforms catalog. And this book was published in 1863.
Oh, wow. So this would be for theater? Or just, what, a haunted house maybe?
No. This is to happen right here and now. In your house.
Whoa.
In your house at this very moment. Anytime you're brave enough to try it. And these illustrations are also hand-colored. But let me get to the one that was the most graphic, the one that worked the best. Hold on.
Do you know roughly how they would work the illusion?
Oh, yeah. It's a common optical illusion. But by the way, here's an entire scientific explanation of how and why ghosts were seen in that era. And that was an era of candlelight. So many a person climbed a staircase in the dark carrying a candle. And this explains how the candle could resonate.
Oh, I love that picture.
This is one of the ghosts that one might see.
Oh, man. That's great.
And basically what you did is stare at a point on the ghost for about a minute, and then when you looked away, you'd see it in the room.
Huh.
You've done that before, haven't you?
Would you have to do something specific? Like, would you have to turn the lights down? Put a
No. You'll try it in a minute. They're pretty subtle. Here's the creepy hand, which when you see it on the wall will come out green. Here's a kind of angel. Here's a horrible face. Okay, this one really works great. Just stare at the dot on his nose hold it close and stare at it for 30 seconds.
You want to hold it up to the camera and let people do it on?
Oh, you want them to do it? Okay.
That'd be cool.
Can you get there?
Yeah, let's go all the way in.
Here we go.
Okay.
Okay, stare for 20 seconds right there. Right there.
And the dot on the nose.
As I try to hold this still. Okay, that should do it, Eric. Now look in the dark area across the room.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Creepy.
You see it?
That's funny. That's really, really funny. What a great book.
That's it. And
oh, that's great. That's really, really great. I love that. Really wonderful. I'm getting so many ideas to make books now.
oh yeah, you can include that in one of your things.
That'd be cool.
You could do a whole series of them. Show you one more book that I spotted in here and forgot to mention. It's right here. Animated Cartoons by E.G. Lutz. And this is the book. This is the book that Walt Disney learned animation from.
Oh, wow.
This is the very book that was his Bible when he developed the art of animation.
What year is this?
I'm going to tell you in a minute.
Because this would have been, it wouldn't have been filmed. What would have been?
It would have been film, yeah.
Been filmed?
1926. This was Disney's Bible. This is actually a rare book. Okay, there we go. Okay, Eric, as we're doing Hidden Mouse Heaven, we're going to go someplace that no one's ever gone before. And there we go. And we're talking about going down the basement.
Did you ever talk about this large bullseye here?
No, I never did.
You want to tell us about it?
This large bullseye. Well, it's curious because my friend John Fawcett. Well, first of all, this is an amazing Mickey object because it existed exactly in this form in the 1930s, but it was 18 inches in diameter. But it's still an amazingly iconic image, and So I have 4 or 5 of these, but I love the image. And my friend John Fawcett, always the artist, painted a 4-foot diameter version of it on a homosote board and used it as a dartboard. He added a little Mickey and Minnie on a cottage on the bottom, which made it his art. So he was now the author of it. He tore it to ribbons. He played with it until it was in shreds, and then he was throwing it away, and I begged him enough, and he gave it to me. And so the shredded dartboard, 4 feet in diameter, hung here for a number of years till it literally fell apart. And so I replaced it with an 8-foot version.
How did you get the 8-foot version? Did you have him paint it?
Oh, no, I painted it myself.
Oh, wow. You painted
Except I'm not an artist, I'm a collector and I'm a purist. So I didn't put something different about it. It's exactly like the original.
The original that he created, or the original?
The original of the toy. But the difference really is, you know, I'm a collector. I did it because I wanted it. It's not self-expression. It's getting something the hard way. Well, Eric, seriously, everything in my collection is getting stuff the easy way. Because if I couldn't get it that way, I'd have to make it myself. It's the only difference between being an artist and being a collector with the eye of an artist is that your eye creates it instantly. And if it doesn't exist, your hands have to work hard to make it happen. Anyway, going down the basement, this is turning into a John Fawcett tour because here's one of his best paintings, one of my favorite ones. This really
photocopy.
This was done from, started as a distorted computer image, and then he chose the section and then rendered it in abstract colors and very chromatic, vibrating colors. Okay, here we go down the basement. No one goes here, believe me. This is...
If they go, they'll come back.
If they go, they don't come back to Mouse Heaven again. Here's another one of John's paintings. This is a curious one because he was determined that he was going to do 50 variations on that image of Mickey doing artwork. And I think he kind of got tired of it, so here's like 18 or 20 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's 20 of them. He counted them as part of the 50, all on one canvas. And these are the actual sheets that he distorted in the computer. Then he would laminate them to the canvas and paint it over them. And they all fit together in a way that really flows. I mean, it's an amazing thing.
It looks abstract until you get right on.
Yeah.
Tell what it is.
Yes, you can. And each one of them is a painting of it in itself. I think it's extraordinary, but there's no room upstairs in Eunice's domain. Okay, you ready for this? Wait a minute, I have to turn that light on over here. Here we go. This is it. This is the basement. It's getting a little dark here. Oh boy, don't photograph all the dunnage. Just concentrate on the things I'm about to show you. Maybe a sunny day might be better.
That's pretty good.
Isn't this amazing? Well, it's never to be finished.
This is the wind vane.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Here on the bottom is the actual cupola off of the bell tower of the schoolhouse. That's the original. This is the working end of a Howard Johnson's weather vane. This I had constructed. I stood there as a guy welded it. This is sculpted and made out of fiberglass.
Who sculpted this?
I did.
Oh, wow.
And the other half is over there. So all that's remaining to do is create the feathers in the back, the arrow point, the tail that would come out and loop around like that. And it would be finished, and then I would laminate it, and then I'd cover it in gold leaf. Well,
cool.
Not going to happen for a variety of reasons.
Could you get that, the whole entire thing, gold leaf?
I would do the whole thing in gold leaf.
Oh, that would be cool.
Now, why isn't going to happen? One, I don't have the energy to do it anymore. Two, gold leaf is now expensive. It would cost well over $1,000 to do 24 karat gold leaf.
Would weatherproof enough that you would be able
Yeah, amazing. Well, gold leaf stands up. Domes all through Europe date to the Middle Ages, and they're nothing but paper thin, whisper thin gold leaf. It's impervious to weather, and they're still intact today.
Wow.
So it's not going to happen. And then the thing that slowed me down was also the fact that having this on top of the schoolhouse is like sending a beacon out to the world saying it's here.
You can see it from the road.
You can see it from the road in the summer. You can see it from across the river in the summer. So it isn't going to happen, but this is it. Another project that isn't going to happen, probably, is this Popeye that I was stripping layer upon layer of paint until I found that the layers, all of them meshed together. There was no way to get down to the original. And somewhere along the line there had been some serious repairs. So really the only thing to do is essentially repaint this. And it rides his pipes upstairs, and it rides on top of a rocket, which is here under the table. Right there, and not very photogenic, but that's his, it's a giant rocket, a sort of a bomb with lightning bolts.
What was this for?
It was a centerpiece of a carnival ride in England. A great big disc that swirled the riders all around it, and Popeye was stationed right in the middle of it. It was supposed to be a trip to the moon.
Cool.
This is...
You put this up at Christmas?
No, this was part of the decoration. There were hundreds of these at Bamberger's for the Mickey Mouse show.
This was the display of your art?
Yes,
Or your collection?
my collection, 1973.
Wow.
The entire store was covered in these.
How many did you get? Just the one?
I got about 2 or 3, I guess, but this one remains.
What do you think happened to the other ones?
Some are under the floor upstairs.